What's up, Freccero fam? For today, we're going to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Oh, hi, Mark.
We're waiting in line right now to get inside, and it's actually pretty packed. As you can see behind me, in terms of the line and everything. So I guess it's time to go in. They open the doors or fence or whatever around 7:15ish. So the way it works for tonight is they have music playing right now, and then later we're gonna watch Fight Club all the way on that screen over there, or that board. I'm not sure if they're doing it via a projector or whatever, I'm not sure, but yeah, this is packed. It's officially nighttime, so Fight Club is starting soon. The DJ's been killing it. It's super beautiful out and everything. Pretty awesome so far. The Hollywood Forever Cemetery was definitely a unique experience. That was my first time ever going there. And I gotta say, first off, I had a blast. So much fun, but some unique things to it, for lack of a better word. Now, first off, as you saw in the beginning of the footage, I did not expect this. My friend who brought me there, it was my first time going, like I said, was like, all right, we're gonna bring a cooler with drinks and food, all this kind of stuff. You can bring pretty much as many drinks and food as you want. The big things you could bring were beer, wine, and seltzers. I think they said no liquor, but another thing too is they didn't check anyone's bag, so I don't know. So it was interesting when you initially get there, as you saw from the footage, everyone was almost pre-gaming or tailgating to get into the cemetery, which I do want to talk about that. I'll mention this a couple times throughout this kind of recap. There's something about drinking in a cemetery and not, I don't know how to word it, honoring somebody. It was weird. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if that's just me, but it's kind of weird. I'm like, am I really tailgating or pre-gaming to go into a cemetery? It was kind of bizarre. So I just got to be honest. And don't get me wrong, the cemetery was beautiful and everything, but I don't know. Something about it just felt a bit off to me. That's the only way I can describe it. You wait in line. I'd say the tickets as well to get in, and I do suggest buy them early because it does sell out, I think it was $22 when we went. And that did not include parking, so you have to pay a little bit more for parking. I think parking was 20-ish bucks or whatever. So you get inside, and as you saw as well, you walk kind of through the cemetery, and then you get to this one section. Now, on the night that I went, they were playing the movie Fight Club, which was obviously an amazing movie. Huge fan of Fight Club. But sometimes they have different concerts or events going on. They always have different stuff. And I gotta say, too, as you saw from the footage, way more people there than I expected. I'm telling you, way more people there. So I do suggest get there early, because it's kind of first come, first serve when it comes to the seating. And people get super territorial with their seating. I mean, way more aggressive than you think. People get very, very territorial. So I do suggest get there early. And right when you, get inside the cemetery, follow the path. And when we get to, the main section where everyone's being seated, walk up to the section you want to go in and put your stuff down. People get very territorial. Another thing too, I will say when it comes to putting your stuff down and everything, I think, it's kind of annoying because you do have to carry it around. Bring more stuff than you think. I saw people bringing like full-on tables with like charcuterie boards and 12 packs and all these different drinks. Like people went crazy. And so that's a big thing I do suggest, because when it comes to the prices, here is the price right now of what the concession stand looks like in terms of when I went. Here are the prices of the bar. And here are the prices of this one burger spot that was there. As you can imagine, definitely super overpriced. I mean, 16 bucks for a burger. The weird thing was, the bar wasn't that bad. Like $8 for an IPA. I remember, I think that was like the best bang for the buck when I did the math out of like, oh, what's the best like price for like the highest alcohol percentage beer for that IPA. It was only $8, which I actually feel like is cheaper than most bars here in LA. But then for some reason on the concession stand, popcorn was $12, which is obnoxious. And then a bag of M&Ms was $8. So I could either get a bag of M&Ms for $8, which I could get like for $1 typically or whatever, or I could get a beer, right? So it's kind of weird that the pricing, I'm not gonna lie. And in addition, they did have a section, I showed it in the video, they did have a section where you could, I can't remember how much it was, I just kind of walked by it. You could get a picture related to something of what you're seeing. So they kind of had this unique setup that looked like you were in the movie Fight Club. You could take a picture in it and pay some money for that. So they do have kind of things and amenities you can do, but being honest, I do suggest, especially because it's free, they don't charge you, bring more stuff than you need. You know, bring a ton of food, bring a ton of drinks. That way you don't have to buy anything. I mean, even though the drink prices there weren't that bad, you know, you're still saving way more money, of course, going to the store and bringing your own. But I gotta say, I had a great time, you know, of course, especially them projecting the movie on that screen. It was huge, super easy to see. It's also kind of fun as well. I think this is true for a lot of instances where watching a movie, I think with a lot of other people, especially that big of a crowd, seems more of like a lively experience, for lack of a better phrase. But again, I just gotta be honest, there's something about being in the cemetery that was just odd to me. Again, maybe it's just me, but I remember, for example, they have a bunch of porta potties when it comes to the bathrooms. And I remember the security guards were there, not making sure people were cutting in line or not making sure, you know, people didn't get rowdy or whatever, but because there was a bunch of different gravestones on the ground that you couldn't see because it was so dark. And they were making sure people weren't by accident stepping on the gravestones before they went into the porta potty. And I remember seeing this being like, all right, this is a fun experience. It's definitely something unique. I've never done this before. It's kind of nice being able to bring drinks and food and sit, you know, in the grass, or I do suggest bringing chairs as well and looking at it and everything. But it is also odd, just, I don't know, being in the cemetery and drinking right next to someone's gravestone, or watching the movie Fight Club in a cemetery. I don't know, something about it was a bit odd to me, but I gotta say, when it comes to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, definitely one of the most unique experiences I've had in LA.